Hey, yo, welcome to my channel. It's like, basically we have a lot to talk about with the New York Knicks. In regards to so far what's going on in the second half of the season, with the fact that there's about 6 to 8 games remaining in the regular season. And coming off of yesterday's matchup against the Atlanta Hawks, there's a lot to unpack, put it quite honestly. Um, let's go. I'm going to break down the specific game and look how this team has looked since the All Star break, and I'm going to give you my honest take on the odds of making a deep run into the playoffs, as well as can they make the conference finals, and more so, can they actually win these, and can they actually win the NBA championships? Anyways, let's go off and see first off that how they played against Atlanta yesterday. So it was very gritty. It was not your typical grittiness the way that you had with essentially like with what's his name, Tom Thibodeau, under Tom Thibodeau, but it highlighted some recurring themes basically where we've seen lately. Like OG Ananobi, relying on getting in there basically a little bit. I mean, Hart not scoring, but at least he was getting into the nitty gritty of things as well too. Brunson being Brunson, making all those shots, unfortunately, and then Cat kind of semi-producing, but yet not producing at the point. So it was like kind of hard to say from that perspective. And then I don't know with the Knicks, the way I mean, the fact that Trey Young has been traded away, and what they got in return. I mean, the Hawks always seem to play against the Knicks very tough, but I don't know. It's more of a case where their defensive communication was what I think stood out in the situation. They held, I mean, the Knicks defense actually was surprisingly, they held Atlanta's perimeter shooters to check for 3 quarters. But as a result of that, I think you'll see, after the fourth quarter, fatigue basically set in. And I mean, it was set late. So like the game showed that while the Knicks may have had next man up mentality down to science, the margin for error is getting thinner as the schedule winds down, basically. Let's be honest about that. Um, and the fact of the matter is I think they got lucky. Let's be honest. I think they got lucky when they won against the Hawks, basically, because quite honestly, that was a case where they should, if McCollum doesn't, releases the ball a little bit earlier, they go into overtime, and I think the Knicks lose in overtime. But in any case, I think we got lucky in that situation, and this is what we're going to be looking forward to in the playoffs. The Knicks got have a long way down the road, but quite honestly, I mean, all right. I mean, since the how they fared since the All Star break, quite honestly, it's been a tale of two identities. Like before the break, the Knicks were the hottest team in the NBA. That like basically all because of OG. Quite honestly, that were they became more defensive minded more than anything else. But since the break, I mean, they've been battling the injury bugs and whatnot. But then, of course, Brunson has emerged a little bit more than normal. He's becoming a legitimate candidate for an MVP. If he gets the MVP, I might maybe make him a tier one at that point. I was always says like he's still a tier one A1 to me until he gets the Knicks to the finals or even the Eastern Conference Finals. I know, yeah, last year he did get to them, but the fact of the matter is they were playing against the Indiana Pacers. They could not get past the Indiana Pacers. That's why I feel like Brunson was still a tier one A for me. But if Brunson were to win the MVP, which I don't think it's possible at this point, the way Wemby's playing right now, but if he were, I think he would definitely be a tier one at that point. I would definitely eat my hat or eat my words and say for sure that he's definitely worth a tier one or being a tier one superstar. He's definitely, scoring the load of the Knicks basically points at this point, honestly. I mean, he's basically been the heart of it. And it's more of a case where like the question comes down to is this. Based on the fact is that, they're third, they were just holding off the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they can still clinch that third spot, they might be able to get past the first round. But reality is it depends who they go against. Fact of the matter is it was their first win since against a team over 500 since the Thunder back in March 2nd. And I mean, honestly, if the odds of them making the Eastern Conference Finals right now, based on what we're seeing right now, I would have to say probably it's a solid 40% for sure. I mean, it's definitely going to go either through the Celtics or basically, sorry, or the Detroit Pistons. But with Cade out, most likely it's going to go through either the Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers. While the Knicks might surprise us again, and like they might be able to beat the Celtics if they were to go against the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, chances are I don't think they're going to beat and win against them in the conference finals if it does come down against the Cavs for that matter. The odds of them making the NBA Finals, I would say probably maybe 10 to 15%, quite honestly. But reality is like if they can do it, it'd be impressive more than anything else. But I would say this has to be their year. I've been saying this for the past couple, but this has to be their year. Quite honestly, I think the blame has to be on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is the reason why I think the Knicks are where they're at right now, but also at the same time why they have their futures definitely in disarray because he pushed Rose to basically get Mikal Bridges for those 5 first-round draft picks, 4 of them undisputed, fifth one, based on what it is. But reality is he's the one that forced Rose. The other factor of the matter is not only that, he's also the one. I think everyone believes that basically all the other players were the reason why Tibbs left. I think Mikal Bridges doesn't say this on his own unless he knows he has Josh Hart and Brunson behind him, telling him that Tibbs has got to go. That's the only reason why I think Tibbs has gone is because Brunson basically I think was the architect of getting rid of him. Because fact of the matter is, yeah, under Tibbs's scheme, it all around Brunson. It revolved around Brunson. But reality is this is a case where I think Brunson basically was tired of getting playing all those long hours, long minutes, and I don't think he could handle it. Same thing with Mikal, even though he's a supposed Iron Man. I think the fact of the matter is Mikal Bridges doesn't say what he says unless he knows he has the backing of his boys, his Villanova boys, basically, quite honestly. So from that perspective, if the Knicks don't get into the finals, it's all on Brunson at that point. Quite honestly, it's all on Brunson to the fact that they can't get a first round because, like, let's be honest, next year Celtics are going to do really well. Pacers are going to get a top draft pick as a result, and probably the top 3. And then, with Halliburton back, who knows what happens there? Unless they can get Giannis, which is most likely not going to happen, it's going to be very difficult. And Giannis going to the Lakers is a possibility. That what we're hearing now, basically, it's a possibility he might go to the Lakers. Him, Doncic, and Reeves together, that might be an unstoppable team at that point. But reality is, I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them in there. I do respond to them when they warrant a response. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until